Here we are with episode 3 of 84 Feet with Cady and Cap. Whether you're checking us out on YouTube or Spotify, we thank you for checking out the podcast. If you're looking at us on YouTube, make sure you like the channel, well, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment if you want, and yeah, just hit that notification bell so you know when new episodes are uploaded, which is every Friday morning at 11 a.m. Or if you're on Spotify, like the channel. 5-star ratings are always wonderful because we love you. Also, you can catch us on social media on Twitter, X, Lusk Media, or Elon Musk. I don't know what the hell it is. At 84 Feet Podcast. And if you have any long form comments you don't want to leave on a video or audio, 84 Feet Podcast at gmail.com is how you can reach out to us. Cap, what's going on, man?
Hey, how are you? I know we were talking before. These kind of days are like, all right, let's just get in the gym kind of days. But it's different from high school. You're not in there 5 days a week all the time. So got to kill my time somehow. After a while, you're like, right, I got to go do something. So walk the dog around, figure out what to make for dinner, and that's pretty much the day from now on. So
4 hours of my day today was dealing with balancing conversations between myself, my wife who was working, and our landlord because we had a backup problem in our tub drain.
Oh, great.
So yeah, so my brother also lives with us, and he's really handy. So he tried snaking it yesterday, no avail. So what does the guy that helps out our landlord show up with first? A snake. It's like that's not gonna work. That's not. We tried it anyways. God love him. So he ends up leaving after that and coming back like a half hour later. It wasn't Drano, but it looked like some kind of Drano. I don't know if it was like a Dollar General knockoff version. I don't know. But whatever it was, he was in and out of the bathroom in 90 seconds after he brought that bottle in.
Yeah, I'm sure that whatever. If it was dollar store Drano, who knows what was in that thing? That thing, you better check the tub from see if it's falling apart at this point too.
I mean, Amsterdam water is known to have a lot of sediment, so whatever if it was dollar store Drano, it probably fits right in there with the sediment from Amsterdam water.
Fits right in with the water.
So before we get into we bring our guests in for the week, I wanted to jump into the event that I worked, you coached / ran last week, the Network Session 1. Overall, before we dive into what you thought of your squad for Elevate, the 17U team, overall, your thoughts on how the event went, the feedback you got, all that jazz.
Yeah, I think it was great. I think the teams that we had there it was great. Like I think I had a lot of good feedback. I got a couple emails randomly from parents. I got a couple direct messages through X or Twitter. Everyone kind of said the same thing. Like they really liked their time having a bunch of the local teams here and having some out of town teams travel to us versus the opposite, where every teams have to go to like Massachusetts or somewhere to get those games. We had them come here. So every game was competitive from the 15U to the 17U games. You were in the 17U gym, but the 15U, I think we had like 3 overtime games. We had a buzzer beater. Every game was competitive, which is what we were just trying to do, is just trying to get competitive games. And it worked out really well. The refereeing was solid. I felt like Tom Walsh brought a bunch of the refs in from the boys that ref boys college and boys high school, as well as some of the Section 2 women's officials. And I just think it was a lot different than some of the other events. We controlled kind of like the whole atmosphere, so nothing really got crazy out of hand, anything like that, like some of those events can do. And we're looking forward to the next one that we have come up in June. So it was a great day and really good feedback from everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I will share that. I thought at least the gym I was in the whole weekend, things went really well. Till the very end, but you know the story behind that. But yeah, it was a couple of things. One, yeah, everything went very smooth, and I was very. I'm trying to remember who pointed out to me that they were men's officials. I'm like, huh, you're right. And I think it might have been Alex Leonard's father when he was working the score table with me, because he was noticing how instead of both referees staying in the same place the whole quarter or the whole
Sure.
game. They were like you would in a regular game. They were rotating
Right.
baseline, and so yeah, that was good. Secondly, good to see Mr. Fryer officiating. He was
Yeah.
officiating the early Saturday games in my gym. Hadn't seen him in a while, so that was always nice to see. It's weird because like I think people just assume the only connections I would ever make would be with coaches and possibly the player or two, which we'll have a couple on in just a minute. But the officials, man, they're all pretty chill peeps for the for the
Yeah.
most part. So it's always good. Like I know one of them, for example, Mike Kaiser,
Yep.
great dude, love
Yep.
him. Yeah, there's a few of them out there, and then Coach Tobias's husband was officiating Saturday morning
Yes.
too. I think it was.
Yep.
So as soon as I walk in the gym and he sees me, he's like, "You remember me?" I'm like, "I remember you. Yes, I do." So
Yeah,
yeah,
it's funny the part. My father being a referee for close to 30 years, he was a referee on the boys' side. So all those guys at some point either know my father. My uncle was a referee too at the Division I level with John Cal and Jim Burr and things like that. So I've been around referees. You have to love them, I guess, at some point because they're in the family. But yeah, if people would just know what they do outside, it's funny when you hear people like, "Well, you're reffing this, and we came to Albany and we're getting a fair call because they're Albany." Like number one, they're boys officials. And number two, really the referee doesn't care who wins or who loses this game. Like I think that's one conception that I think people think referees care. Like they care that the game's over and they get paid after the game's over. That's like the point of them doing summer basketball. So, but I think it was great. Matty Fryer is one of our best refs, so I think we have around here on the men's side, and he works his tail off. He's sprinting up and down the court just like he would any other game that he'd have, like the AAA final. So it was great to see, and we have his younger daughter is just as tough as he is. So she's coming up through our program right now. But again, when you have a drill named after you, the Fryer drill, you know that you're probably pretty tough. So
just slightly. All right, we'll jump back into AAU stuff in a moment, but first, we have our guests for this episode. We had episode 1 where we stopped in Dwaynesburg to talk to Allison O'Hanlon and Alex Moses. Episode 2, we had Morgan Vian and Eva Gito from Your Albany Academy. But something a little different about the intro I'm going to do for these guests because are you familiar with the Pat Beverly podcast that he does with Barstool at all?
Yep.
And his co-host that basically really does the hosting, honestly, a guy named Ron, who's also a battle rapper, for those who don't know. And anytime they have a guest on, he drops a few bars to introduce the guests. Now, I can already see in the background that our guests are laughing already. But listen, I was laying in bed a couple nights ago. I had a few random words that rhyme pop in my head. I'm like, all right, let's see if this works. You already seen it, Cap, so you signed off on it. So I'm just gonna see what happens here. Let me go find it now. Okay. Let me just make sure I just want to make sure it looks correct based on what I sent you, because just one. Okay, yeah, it looks right. All right. Okay. So it goes like this. This is the place and now is the time. Growing up in Albany, I kind of learned some rhythm and rhyme. I guess tell you all about the hustle, fully embracing the grind. They're state champions, even warriors of heart, body, and mind. It was nothing but hard work, always refused the silver spoon. From Averill Park, here's Taylor Holohan and Tatiana Tune.
Let's go.
Was that all right?
That was good.
Where's that
I'm
button? Where's
right.
that? Bam, 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 bam.
That was
those
good.
buttons.
Can we use
Now-
that?
Do not put me on any battle rap after this. No. That's about as far as my creativity is going to go. So,
I like that. That
let
was
it go.
good. We should keep it going.
Ladies, what's going on? How you doing?
Good.
Good. How are you?
We're here. We're good. It's an interesting week. Cap was out, running in the rain, so we're all good now. It's all chill. First things first. Where should I go with the first question? You know what? I'll just start off with going to a hard hitting question. Averill Park, man, it's beyond just a basketball program. It's and Dwaynesburg's in the same way too. With the way I discussed with Allison O'Hanlon and Alex Moses a couple weeks ago, it's more than just a basketball program. It's more than just a school. Like it's a real community feel there. With the village of West Sand Lake all around it. Can you two just talk about that a little bit about the community at Averill Park and what that's meant to you two as far as your growth and development both on and off the court?
Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You can start.
So the first thing like that was super big from like beginning when I started in the program, and I know Tot probably feels the same way. It's just like the support from the community is crazy. I mean, you just see it all over the place. You go out in places and people recognize everybody on the team from A through Z players, and it's like it's really cool to be able to be recognized even if you don't play as big as a part as you think you do. But and then another thing that was super big for me is like the little girls. We run camps and the way that they all look up at us and they come to all the games. That's such like a cool feeling. Like you're not just playing for yourself and your teammates. You're playing for these little girls, so they have something to look up to and role models to want to be like when they're older.
Yeah. I agree completely because like when we were younger, it was kind of the same thing. Like it was always like a big deal where it was like, oh, you go to the games, you see all the girls, you look up to them. And then to just kind of grow in the program and then become one of those girls that the kids look up to. I mean, it's just an amazing feeling to go from to kind of climb the ladder and experience all levels of it. So
For you guys, so in terms of obviously, I've seen you guys up close, and we've been able to scrimmage and get in, and like scrimmages end up turning into games every time we play, just because there's the intensity both sides. So, but in terms of like what you guys have done as a program, and even before you guys, with your early morning workouts, things like that, like what do you feel like the success that you guys have had? What sets AP apart from like the rest of? Obviously, everyone practices. Everyone tries to win, but what's the difference between AP and these other places that aren't having the success that you guys have had?
I think it's kind of like, well, Oregon, our coaching staff is amazing, first of all. And every practice, every year you come in, they say that there's a standard, and the standard has been set by all the years before you. And you're not just going to walk in here like a walk in the park. You have to meet, if not exceed, the standard. So I think it's just a mindset that he really gets us to think, and then we start to believe in ourselves, and that's how our team eventually just grows because we put in the work, and he's definitely a big part of that. Both of them are.
I'd also say like a part of the coaching staff and being able to play under guys that devote so much of their time is just like our team like truly, I know that this is probably the same for every team, but our team like really truly loves each other. Like we played for each other, we fought for each other, we lost together, we won together. Like that was something that we rode with all season, and it was just like we've been playing together. I think our core group, our starters and a couple other girls, we played together our first year in CYO. What was it, like third grade, fifth grade, somewhere around there? So it's just like we grew up with these girls. Yeah, so it's like it's different. It's definitely different when you got these kind of girls that you're playing with. So
Todd just mentioned Coach Oregon, and you mentioned the coach staff as well, Taylor. So let me just jump into two specific coaches. Obviously, Sean Oregon. Sean is Sean. But I also want to bring up assistant coach Scott Keegan. Like it's almost like Scott is, how should I put this? And this is not meant to be a derogatory term, but he's almost like the mascot for the team in a way. Like he's just like he keeps obviously a serious face during the game and warm-ups and all that, but like it seems like after games he's the one taking the funny pictures with everyone and all that stuff. talk about the dynamic between those two and what they mean as far as the development you two had going through the last few years.
Yeah, I think the whole Keegan this kind of goes back to like the team thing. I mean, not only was our team very close, we were so close with our coaches, and we were just kind of like best friends off the court, different on the court, but like obviously best friends off the court, and it was just like I don't know, it was different the bond that we had with our coaches.
With Oregon and Keegan, I always look at their dynamic as kind of like, I mean, it's not exactly like this, but kind of like the bronze and like the broad and the brain kind of. Because Oregon's kind of that big guy yelling, stomping his feet and stuff. And then Keegan's just sitting on the bench, tapping Oregon's shoulder, telling him like all these things that he sees. Because even like when I would be sitting next to Keegan on the bench per se, like you could always see Oregon doing whatever he was doing, and then Keegan would kind of be there just watching and scanning, and like anything he saw, he'd be like, Oregon, they're in a 2-3. Oregon, they're in man. So I always kind of their dynamic is always so interesting because just to see how they're such like a well-oiled machine, they work so well together.
Has anyone ever tried to use the towel that's on his shoulder? Did everyone ever to take that off? Is that like a security blanket?
That's his good luck charm.
Yeah, I don't know if he washes that thing.
Yeah,
I don't think he
I think
does.
he's got a lot of wins in that towel. So in terms, I asked these guys before this, like Allison and Alex, when they were on, anything that you guys have like a normal routine, like pregame routine, or like any certain music or anything you guys eat that you guys have to take a nap before a game? Like, what is your normal routine before games?
Okay, so obviously it's different for where we play and if we're home or whatever, but we ate at Panera a lot. We were constantly there. I think the people like knew us by our names by the end of the season, and we saw this same man there every single time, so we were like best friends with everyone there. But we would get like either that or we do like subs or something, and then I'll let Todd say about like what we did like in the locker room and stuff. Yeah. And then we just hang out, honestly. Kind of get the biggest thing for us was like the game doesn't start. Usually school ends like 2:10, so we probably our games are at 6. That's like 4 hours until our game. So our biggest emphasis was like we don't play right now. We don't need to be all jacked up right now. So we would just kind of chill, hang out, like relax. That was our biggest thing.
Yeah, and then I don't know. We would always what she said, and then the locker room. It would be like we get in there, like we watch the JV game. We go in there at halftime, or we shoot around at halftime, and we go in to the locker room, and then we get the music going right away, and we just kind of we get all the like excitement kind of out because we've had to be calm all day just to not flare it up. Then we kind of like we get a little jittery and stuff. We get the excitement going, and we listen to music. We get ready, and then once we're ready and stuff, and then the coaches come in, we kind of lock in, and that's when kind of I think the switch flips, and we go from like, all right, we're excited, it's game time, to like lock in, it's game time, like, and I don't. It was pretty much how it was every game, honestly. We we were a little superstitious. I think we kept the same routine for the most part. Yeah.
They had Adele on their playlist. Do you guys have Adele on your playlist or anybody?
No.
No.
We had what do we have? Like Rihanna.
Swag Surfing was one of our best songs.
Oh,
there you
that
go.
was our song.
That's a good one.
That was our song.
Yep.
Yeah, and then once the calendar turned to Valentine's Day, they knew I'd be announcing. So their last pregame ritual was bugging the crap out of me for 30 seconds about making sure their pregame music was in there set up properly.
Had to take a stop to you real quick.
Unbelievable, these two. Just a pain in the butt. That's all they are. No, I'm kidding. So one big thing that Cap and I are focusing on with the show, and we'll address it more later on, is AAU in general. I know the two of you were in different programs. Taylor, you came through Havoc. Tatiana, you came through Capitals in the end. Just talk a little bit about those programs. Maybe the one or two important people from those programs that were a big part of you getting to where you are today, and what you're going to be doing beyond high school after this.
You want me to
Um,
go? Good.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Personally, so like I actually started in Havoc, so obviously the relationships that I made there, like me and Taylor went there together, and everything like that. Like Terrence, I had as even though I had a short time there, I had a great time. The coaching, everything there, like nothing but good things to say about them. And then when I moved to Capitals, Julie just gave me a different opportunity, and I took it. And personally, like me and Julie McBride have a great relationship. I love her. I see her like almost like a big sister. And just throughout my time with her, she's taught me a lot in the game and outside of the game too. And yeah, I have a lot of respect for her and the things that she does. So that's all I really have to say.
I'd say I feel the same way. Like Terrence is kind of like a best friend, and then obviously I respect him and all the work he's done. And we played our top team this year or last year, excuse me. Just playing with each other. It goes back to like the family thing. Like we were so close, and they pushed each other. Like they pushed me, I pushed them, and it was a good environment. And then I'd also say like Julie, I respect her a lot. I see her a lot. She's always very outgoing and nice, and she's a fun person to see and talk to. So.
You hear that?
You guys do that too?
A little
I
bit of
don't
a
know what
snake
that
note.
sound
There
is.
we go.
Oh, I thought it was me.
Oh, there we go. You're on mute, Bri.
My bad. What I'm gonna do is I think it was Taylor. I'm gonna let me just see. Let me see here. Yeah, yeah. So Taylor, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna just drop out and come back in real quick, and we'll I'll find a way to take care of that. So all right. So I'll focus in on Tune here with another question. Yeah. Now I know it's somebody to help you out here, huh? Huh?
Yeah,
Now you're all yourself. But
tag
real
team.
quick, you just you mentioned to me a few days ago your college decision. Just walk through that process because I know it's something you and I have been discussing for about a year now or so. As far as you just
Yeah.
trying to figure things out and walk through it. Trying to figure out what program you want to do and this and that. So just kind of talk us through the decision, how your decision process was, and in the end, what your decision has been made to be.
So my biggest thing with college ball is I wasn't completely sure if I wanted to play. Like I've always loved basketball and everything. Like I came up with it, but I don't know. It just got to a point where I wasn't sure if I wanted to play in college. So then that led me to the decision of going D3. And I in an AAU tournament, the coach from Suffolk University, he reached out to Julie and said that he loved the way I played. And from there, I got started to talk to him. He reached out to me, and I went up and visited the school and all that, and I really liked it, but I wasn't sure yet with myself on what I wanted to do. So I always had that as an option, but I didn't know like if I wanted to go out of New York and go to Boston, or if I wanted to stay in New York and maybe play somewhere else or not play at all and just see what I wanted to do. But at the end of the day, I decided that especially after this season ending, I felt like I wasn't ready to stop playing organized basketball yet. So I wanted to keep playing and I didn't want to go anything more than Division 3 because I didn't want my athletics to be anything more than my academics. Like I wanted to focus on school. So I decided to go to Suffolk and I committed there recently. And I'm excited to go to Boston. I have a good relationship with the coach and I even know some of the girls on the team. I've been out there a couple times. I watched them play. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Congratulations on that too.
Thank you.
Yeah, so you guys will be in the same city. That'll be fun. You guys won't be
Yeah,
too far.
we're like 15 minutes away from each other actually.
Yeah, that's awesome. And then Liv's from Boston Spa. So you have some, like, she was at Capitals at some point too.
Mhm.
So that's awesome. Um, in terms of like staying with like the AAU stuff, what have you guys been doing? Obviously, I think Taylor, you're coaching a little bit, and Tot, you were at the game the other day. But what have you guys been doing with like all your time now? Obviously, like AAU used to eat up a ton of your time during this time of year. Like, is it weird not having like a normal AAU routine, or are you guys like staying in it and working out, or like what are you guys doing with your time now that you guys are done with your AAU?
Personally, I've been taking a lot of naps, doing a lot of sleeping after school and stuff. But I've been going to like a couple of the younger teams,
Yep.
the team below us. I've been going to a couple of their practices, jumping in a little bit, and just being there because I just love that environment. And other than that, just like working out, staying in shape. But just that. But definitely a lot more free time.
All right, Taylor, hang on. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna put you in the background, and I'll talk to you on your phone real quick about what's going on, because the whatever sounds going on is amplifying over you. We can't even hear you now, so that's what's going on. But so we'll figure that out. So we'll try to get Taylor back on in a second, but just want to follow up real quick. Todd, Suffolk, isn't that where didn't Olivia Verdile from Boston Spa go there?
Yes,
Yep.
and also I think her name is Delaney Moore.
Yep.
She went to Ichabod Crane. So, and both of them played for Capitals. So, I know both of them. Yeah.
Coincidence,
Yeah.
no big deal, right?
So, it's nice to know some kids out there for sure.
Anything in terms of Boston, like anything you're looking forward to out there that we don't? So my sister lives in Boston. She actually lives about 4 blocks from Northeastern.
Mhm.
So like the Boston is so much different than obviously where we are, but it's one of like the most walkable cities, I feel like, too. Anything you're looking forward to, like in a big city that we don't have around here?
Yeah, well, my biggest thing with leaving New York was I wanted just a different lifestyle, like a different feel, just to experience it, get out of my comfort zone a little bit. Being over here in upstate New York is definitely a lot different from being in Boston. And I thought about going to I wanted to go to a city to get out of like the suburb and this different type of area. And of course, I thought about staying in New York, but I didn't really want to go to New York City. And Boston is definitely a close city, and it's a beautiful city, and it's very clean. It's not too big, so I don't.
Sure.
And there's just I've been there a couple times, and every time I've been there, I loved it. So I figured, why not?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, Boston is definitely a big city that doesn't have a big city feel.
Yeah,
Like, it's kind of like a perfect marriage of, big city construction, small city feel, I guess would be the best way to
yeah.
put it.
I like the. Oh, I'm sorry. My
It's all
dad
good.
friend is here. Yeah, I just like the feeling of Boston, and I like that it wasn't too far. So that was definitely my favorite piece. Sorry, I'm gonna tell my dad to be quiet.
It's all good. Go ahead. Now we're gonna test and see if our other half of our guests is. It sounds better. Are you good now?
Does it? It's
Yeah.
on my phone should be good. It's like
Yeah, I don't know what was going on there, but hey, we're all good now. So just I think Cap, you're asking about both being in the Boston area. Is that what you're asking about?
Yeah. So too, like I see she was finishing like what she's been doing. So I asked another question, but so I guess what have you been doing with your time, one, and then what what are you looking forward to in terms of Boston? Like why did you end up choosing ultimately like the school you ended up going to, the city like do you have anything that you're looking forward to getting to the city, and what you plan on doing when you get
yeah, so I'll start with what I'm doing. I'm like lifting and stuff. My dad is a personal trainer, so he wrote me up a thing just to make sure, like, to strengthen my ACL, my MCL, just because you can never be too cautious. So I'm doing all that stuff, and then I shoot with Audrey Shields down at her gym. We're trying to get a 5-on-5 going. I mean, I'm trying to play. I just want to play, But and then for Boston, like my main decision was mix. And then my obviously the coaching staff, like we get along really well, and I love them all. But the academics were high, and it was just like I can excel there and then have fun playing basketball and stuff like that. So, but I really loved Boston. I mean, the first time I went there, it was actually raining, and it was kind of like bummy, if you would, but I still like loved it, and it was super beautiful, even though it was like rainy and stuff. And I mean, it just my favorite thing was like the food, because I mean, when Todd and I hang out, all we do is eat food. Like we don't even, I don't know, we just eat food. So I mean, all the restaurants and stuff are super nice. I like that. I got along with the team, and I don't know, it's just like it clicked. And then I committed before Todd did, and I forgot that she said that she liked Boston. It was just kind of funny that we both ended up in the same spot, 15 minutes away. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
All you do is eat, and you're very interested in the restaurants. And gee, I wish I had your metabolism. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, so as far as where was I going there? Oh, so going to Northeastern coming up for you. I know a certain someone who may or may not have just gotten out of Catskill last year that plays in your conference. Oh, by the way, somebody named let me think. Oh, Janae Brantley. That's right. Um, so now you got to deal with her again, all over again for at least your first 3 years. You guys talk about that at all yet, or you just gotta walk on the court and be like, "Surprise! Here I am!" Like, what's up?
Yeah, I mean, she congratulated me, and then obviously when she committed, I congratulated her, but I haven't texted her yet. Or Lauren's on the team too. I was close with Lauren when she was in the program, and then obviously when you move away, it's different because you can't keep the same contact. But I'm excited to see them again, just because it'll be like bringing back old memories from our old Havoc days, and they watched me grow up, and I watched them grow up and move on. So it's kind of cool. It'll be cool to play against them again.
That's awesome. In terms of so like both you guys, Todd, you can answer first. But what's something like I'll go back to your high school stuff. Like what's something from your time at AP, like the program itself? What will you take with you like to the next level that won't ever like I guess won't ever be cut from your DNA now that you've been part of Averill Park's like the athletics program?
Just the idea of like honestly everything Oregon and Keegan drilled into our heads, like just over the years. The worth ethic, like meeting the standard, like always pushing yourself, especially. That was one of the big things because like as many times as you had a breakdown or anything happened, it was always next play, next play. You got to push yourself mentally and physically, be tougher. And I think just that mindset and that worth ethic I'll definitely take with me because that's something that will keep me successful no matter where I am. Another thing that I wish I could take with me though is like the family aspect because our team, that was one of the biggest things. Like there was just, it was, you just always felt like you were part of a family. And I just hope to be able to bring that kind of with me, like take my little piece of Averill Park and bring it with me just to, because that feeling, it's something everybody should experience. It was amazing to be a part of. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say. Wait, can you ask the question again? Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Just something that you'll take with you from like your time
Yeah.
at AP that'll like stay with you for like as long as you play basketball.
Yeah. So, like Todd said, the whole family aspect was just it's different playing with girls that you're just so tight with. But another thing is, time wise, like he taught me what's on time, late, all that stuff from the first day. I mean, he tells everybody that. Except for Top, but everybody is always pretty on time, and it's crazy. Like on time is like an hour early, and it'll just I was talking to an alum the other day from Averill Park. Did I just cut out?
Just for a sec, you're good.
I was talking to an alum from Averill Park the other day, and she was like, "Yeah, everything that Oregon taught me, it was just like I carry through." And I don't know, I think she's in her 30s now. She's like, "I still use some of the things he taught me today," and I can't even point out like some of the like. There's just so many things that he's taught us, from like being a good person to just working hard at literally everything you do. It's just so much that he taught all of us.
That's great.
So, in the midst of kind of killing time for the way I'm going to end this interview, it's still something I want to bring up, but it's going to be on a little bit of a somber note. So, Cap, I have a question for you that'll lead into the question I have for one of our guests here. The sub regional game you had at Averill Park against Saranac. When you first saw me that night, did I look a bit off to you at all for any reason?
No, not too much.
Okay.
Other than rainy, it was rainy out. That's about
Okay.
it.
Okay. And one person's already laughing because I think they know what I'm going to bring up. So, about 15 minutes before I saw you and the rest of the coaching staff, I walked into Averill Park. It's an hour before game time. And as soon as I walk in, I look left. I walked into the entrance near the left side of the gymnasium. I walk in, I look left, and a certain somebody um is in a walking boot and on crutches. And I'm like, and she'll tell you, I like literally stopped and just was like, I didn't move. I was just like eyed up and down, like, the hell is this? Um, and then I was beside myself because there was potential for that being the end of her high school career. Obviously, it wasn't, but the fear of God was inside this girl's heart. So if you don't mind, Taylor, walk us through what happened, what was going through your mind that night when you were trying to figure out what was next for you, and was that the best kept secret in Averill Park basketball history? Because I don't know who knew anything about that aside from
Dude.
people that were at that practice
Oh.
and me when I walked into the gymnasium that day.
Yeah, so that day was, I mean, it was a horrible day for everybody. Like everybody has these days, and like we have team days where it's just like meh, it just happens. And Tot wasn't actually at practice that day because she was struggling with something. And then I think we lost a couple girls just because we have like big tests, and girls can't make it and stuff like that. So we were already short. And I mean, what happened was we were like playing. It was literally like 5 minutes left to practice. We were playing 5-on-5, starters versus everybody else, and we were running plays like this. I would tell you that this is like not anybody's fault, and Oregon was so hard on himself about it because he always thinks like this, but I mean it's just a contact sport. Someone just landed on me. My knee like went in and my ankle rolled, and it was just like everything tightened up, my Achilles and all that stuff. And I mean, Oregon blamed himself obviously, but it was like, I don't know. It was just like a very traumatic thing. And then I go into Rachel's and I'm like thinking to myself, I'm doing everything I can, whatever, because this isn't it for me. Or it was tough. And then Ta, obviously, she's in Rachel's, and she like looks over at me and she's like, "What, girl? What the? Am I allowed to swear?" She's like, "Girl, what the heck?" Like,
I
I'm
was actually, so that entire day I get these like really like chronic migraines, and they happen like once in a while, whatever, and like maybe once or twice a month. And that day I was battling it all day. And I tried all day to stay in school for just to be able to go to practice. I was taking my meds. I was drinking so much water. I went to the nurse's office. I took a nap because I was just like, okay, well, if I can't sit in class, I need to be in school so I can be at practice. And then it got to practice time. I got ready and everything, and I couldn't do it. I could barely walk into the gym with the lights, nonetheless run up and down the court. So I went to the trainer's room and I just stayed there the entire time. I laid there, probably took like 3 naps during that whole time. And then I wake up and I turn over and Taylor's over there in an ice bucket. And I was like, what's going on? Like, I tried to be here and this is what happens. This is what happens when I'm not here. But yeah.
I didn't even like it was so quick. It was just like I just ran into a girl. I literally just ran into her. It wasn't her fault, and she felt horrible. Oregon felt horrible. I was like, guys, it's really fine. But I don't know. It ended up being I honestly can't even remember now, but it was like a strain of my Achilles and my MCL, and then like some small stuff in there, a little sprain. But it wasn't. I mean, obviously, it wasn't stopping me. So, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you guys once you guys get to that point too, because thankfully we were able to get to that. You guys have been through it more than we have, but I don't think anyone really realizes like that extended season, how much that adds. Really, like it's 6 days a week, and obviously AAU can become like 4 or 5 days a week for some of us, but like that added extra month of basketball that it's a lot. Like it's a lot. 6 days a week practices, things like that. There's stuff that you guys just don't do. So again, like for you to be able to play through that, I knew about it. Like obviously, I was like, I'm not saying anything, but so I was happy that both you guys were able to play through it, and it was fun to watch. Like we rooted you guys on every second that we watched. We were actually watching on the bus, like on our way back. So everyone was rooting for you guys. So you definitely have shown like everybody around this area, like this, like you set standards, right? So you guys have kind of set the standard for what everything should look like. So just you guys were part of that. So I appreciate you guys, like obviously showing those kids and like showing the way for girls basketball, like going forward around this area. So because you guys are 2 great role models for a lot of the kids. So I appreciate that, both of you guys. Does in terms of I have 2 questions. I'll ask the other one after this one, but does playing at Hudson Valley for you guys at this point, does it feel any different? Like, does it feel like obviously you have a ton of fans that show up, your whole student section that shows up. Does it feel like a road game when you're there? Does it feel kind of like you're playing a home game?
I don't know if I would say it feels like an away game, but it's definitely obviously different than playing at home, but it's just comfortable, you know. It's a different type of energy. I remember the day of our semifinals. It was just like it's just a different type of energy. Like it's hard to explain it and put it into words, but it's just I don't know.
Yeah, one thing about Hudson Valley, like all year was kind of like not to like look ahead of the season, but once it got towards the end, it was kind of like I can't wait to get back to Hudson Valley because a lot of our girls, you know, we had more of a veteran team. A lot of them had experience, like the feeling of being at Hudson Valley, and there's something like we love playing on our home floor. Like, don't get me wrong, like I love that gym, everything about it, the locker room, but at Hudson Valley, like I don't know, it's just a different feeling. It's a different environment, and even like the locker room there, just the gym being on that floor. I wouldn't say it's like an away game. It feels more like a home game than an away game, just because it's like our home area. Like it's still our crowd and everything like that. It's just
Sure.
well, I loved playing there though. For
And
sure.
how many times a week do you guys eat K's Pizza? Like, is it really that good out there? Like, I've been once, I think, ever. But is it worth the hype? You think?
I don't know how many times I've had K's, honestly.
Yeah. I don't really go very often, but I will say if you're gonna go, get the Thai chili chicken pizza because that's the only thing I get.
Yep.
And sometimes I'm craving that. I'll get that a couple times in the summer, but that's honestly it.
Yeah.
So if you're gonna go, get that. That's all I gotta say.
Thai chicken pizza.
It's amazing.
Writing it down.
Okay, all right. Before I get into the way I want to wrap up this episode, I do want to ask about one thing because you mentioned about, you know, a veteran team, leadership, and all that, and with the expectation that's been there with the program and the standard. That's what I was looking for. Standard has been a big word in this interview. So I just got to bring up like three teammates that both of you played with at one point or another. I think you both played with all three of them. Couple of them you won a state title with, Amelia Wood, Michelina Lombardi, and then Anna Jankovic. All three playing next level. I know even at one point Amelia was there. I can't remember if it was I think it was during the state tournament or sectional final, one or the other. What does it mean for you guys having had those kind of role models that came before you, had that success, went on to the next level, and continue having success? Especially Amelia is doing an amazing job at Sacred Heart. See what they've been able to do and how that's motivated you to, keep producing the way you guys have been, and now obviously going on to the next level yourselves.
I feel like the leadership kind of grows and is handed down, if you will. And I mean, I don't want to speak for Tot, but I learned how to be a good leader and how to be a good role model from those girls, and those girls learned it from the girls before them. So it's just kind of something that was taught many years ago, and it's been consistently handed down to every single leader, if you will, in every single generation of girls. So
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Like, they met the standard, and when we came up, we looked up to them, and they were a perfect example of leadership. And just coming up, we kind of took the best things we could from them, and we kind of instilled them into ourselves so that we could be just as good as role models as they were to us. And just to kind of keep the standard going, and just how Averill Park has been throughout its time with the standard being there with Oregon and stuff. So just to kind of keep the same thing going, I think that was the biggest thing with them.
All right, so I don't know if you two saw the way I ended things with Alison O'Hanlon and Alex Moses with their interview. Don't worry, I don't have any baby pictures of any of you. It's okay. But I did go digging through Coach Oregon's Facebook from the last couple of months.
Oh man.
Don't worry, there's nothing crazy that I'm gonna pull up, all right? They're classy recent photos, okay? Nothing stupid, all right? So Tay, when you're shooting a free throw, is there anything specific going through your mind, or you just in a trance? Like, what's going on here?
Sometimes, okay. Sometimes I like imagine myself on the free throw line in the gym, the one facing the wall that you walk in from. And I just think about the gym's empty and I'm just in practice in my practice jerseys, Tots to my right on the foul line. And I just do it how I do it in practice. But sometimes I sing to myself to calm myself down. But
You sing to yourself.
yeah,
Huh. Okay.
kind of like you shouldn't really think about it, because if you think about it, then you get in your own head. So I just kind of relax myself, I guess, if you will.
So when ESPN Plus is broadcasting Northeastern Stony Brook games, they should mic you up for when you're shooting free throws, is what you're saying.
I guess so.
Okay. Let's see what we got here. Okay, that's Tot, trying to, I guess, push the ball through, I guess. Look like there. Let's see what else we got here. There was another Tot one. Oh, that's the one I wanted. Yeah. Is that for lack of a better phrase, is that a you trying to tell somebody with your eyes move your ass, or is that a so like what do you think is going on here?
Here, honestly, who is that against Mohan?
Yeah.
What it looks like, yeah.
I think I don't know what was going on, to be honest with you. I think I was trying to maybe slow us down a little bit. Maybe I was looking for somebody. It was probably Kaylee open in the corner for
Corner 3 Ahern. That's what I was going to
corner
say.
3 Ahern for sure. That's probably what. I probably saw her out of the corner of my eye, and I was like, oh, getting the ball to her real quick. So that's probably, I don't know. That'd be my best guess.
Thank you for bringing up somebody currently because I've been so remiss in not bringing up any of the current girls. Um, Lily Wolberg continues to develop. There's obviously no party without Ariana Verardi. Um, Ahern has been a nice development. Like you see the girls that are still going to be there next year and beyond. Um, Tot, you basically just brought it up, so I'll start with you. The future of Averill Park. You know, you talk about like again the standard. We're just gonna hammer that word home the whole night. Um, you know, how do you see the future going the next at least year or two as they move on?
Oh, sorry, I don't know what just happened. Um, for the future of Averill Park, I think the next years like they have a pretty large senior class coming up. I think there's like 5 of them, and I think like they're all hard workers and they've been to the highest place where they can get with us as a team, and I think that they will continue to set the standard. They're all hard workers, and they're all, I mean, I've been playing with most of those girls since like third, second grade, since we were little. So obviously, I have a great relationship with them. I know Taylor does too. But I think I'm excited to watch them grow and play like next year because I want to see what they can do because I know personally I know what they can do, but I want to see how it comes out for the rest of the world. So I'm excited and I think they're gonna just do what they can, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. They can do a lot of things next year if they put their hearts to it and they know that we we I know that we left Averill Park giving them everything we could and every little bit of our knowledge that we learned. So we left them able to do whatever they wanted to do as long as they put their heads to it and they work hard, which I know they'll do it. So
Not that I wanted to fact check you, Todd, but I grabbed my section 2 program. Yeah, five. It looks like five. Kaylee, Lizzie, Ari, Sierra, and Lily. So yeah, good job. Way to go. Glad you know your team.
Yeah,
Um,
Kaylee had a corner three this weekend, and I'm like, all right, just run down the other end of the court if you're the other team at this point. Like, I was like, oh, Ahern for corner three, like that's going in. Just get back.
yeah, we had to check if that was a white Warriors jersey or a white Capitals jersey for a quick second, just to make sure. Let's see what else we got here. All right, we'll avoid the two that'll probably make each of you cry. So let's go here. Um, this first off, the face on Tot yelling is the best. Secondly, though, I mean, how much does that picture in and of itself, and I guess probably this one too. I mean, these two pretty much symbolize because that became basically an annual thing for you guys at that point with everything that Averill Park was about was going out there and winning and getting plaques. Being the plaque collectors basically. Um, yeah, I mean that pretty much sums it up right there in those two photos.
yeah, I mean, I think during the season, our I wouldn't say our I don't know if I would call it a mistake, but we didn't really celebrate our wins as big as they actually were. So like sectionals, obviously we are happy on the court, but I mean the second that we walked off, we were like, okay, next game. And then semifinals for regionals, we walked off the court, we were like, okay, next game. And then regionals, obviously we walked off the court when we were getting ready for states. So we didn't really honestly celebrate those wins as big as they actually were, and that kind of I mean, that's kind of what we always do. We were headhunting. We had a lot more to prove, and obviously we came up short. But now looking back on the season, we accomplished a lot, and we made history, and we stamped our names on something that we can say that no other team has done before. And it's a really big thing, and I'm really like proud of our team and obviously our coaches that we were able to accomplish those things, and I mean get as far as we did because obviously not everybody does that. So.
Yeah, I definitely want to add with that, like not celebrating as much as maybe somebody else would. The thing with being a part of like the dynasty or whatever, um, having so many seasons, being able to say that we have won that many sectional championships in a row, like it almost seems like it would kind of lessen the feeling and maybe to like certain people's eyes, like maybe it did. Like, okay, We won it last year. We won it again this year, but it's really not. Like every time, like there's so much like blood, sweat, and tears put into every season, and just the hard work, just getting there and accomplishing that goal. Like our first goal of the season was win sectionals and just stuff like that. So, and keep going, of course. And, like we, Taylor and we've won, I think we had 3 regionals in the last 3 years, right? And every time it was a surreal feeling, honestly, every time. So I think some people would think that having a record like that would lessen the feeling, but just knowing the work that we put in and stuff, it was always an accomplishment, even if we didn't celebrate it as much as we should have.
Now, obviously, it's a big family environment. It's a very close knit community in Averill Park. But let me potentially bring out the Kleenex here for you guys. Let's start with Todd. Um, Obviously, this is from senior night. Um, you look at that picture and you see those three standing there with you, celebrating everything you accomplished at Averill Park, on and off the court. What do those three people mean to you, and what have they provided for you to become who you are today?
Um, uh, these 3 are definitely the biggest part of my life. Always supporting me. Like my dad is the reason that I started playing basketball in the first place, because it was just always what I was surrounded with, because he grew up playing it. And growing up, it was always me and him with basketball. Like CYO, he coached some of our teams. He would always be the one that I worked out with, got shots up just in the driveway, just playing. You want to go outside and shoot, just like that. So to be able to have him by my side this entire way is just amazing. And I'm forever grateful for him for showing me the sport of basketball and letting me love it the same way that he did. And it definitely made our relationship, um, I don't know, I think it helped our relationship a lot, just having that connection. And yeah, with my mom, like, I mean, she's always loved watching sports, but she was never like really playing them. But she learned to know what was going on eventually, uh, after being to so many games between CYO, Capital District, AAU, and modified JV, varsity, of course. She's always been by my side. She's always supported me, even when it was annoying and she was telling me like I got to go get in the gym, whatever. She was always there, and I'm forever grateful for her. And then my sister, I don't know, every time that I felt like maybe my parents didn't hear me with what I was saying, like my sister was always there. She was definitely like my rock, somebody that I could always lean on or talk to. So, and we have a great relationship. She's like my best friend, honestly. So, yeah, something about those 3, definitely.
Well, Taylor, I guess you know what's coming for you. There's your senior night photo. Just same thing. Just walk us through the importance that those 3 individuals have had in your growth.
Yeah, I mean, like everything from like drive me all over the country, and I'll say this all the time, like they held me accountable, and obviously they have paid so much money for me to do everything that I could do and bring me all the places that I wanted to go and be seen and stuff like that. And I don't know, they just held me accountable. They were my biggest supporters everywhere. Them and obviously the Tunes. They were the loudest people at the stand at every game. Even at Hudson Valley, top row, you can hear them, and it was just, I mean, obviously there's a lot of ways that you can describe it, but the only really like deep ways, like they're just like family. Obviously they're my family, but they really are, like Todd said, like my rock. Like they're always there for me. It's my little sister, and obviously I have an older brother too. He wasn't there because he's in college, but I know he's supporting me from wherever he is. So
Cap, any parting words you'd like to provide before wrap this up?
No, I think Section 2 is not going to be happy. Everyone found out you had a sister now. So They're like, all right, we got rid of her. Well, there's another one coming behind her, but no, just same things you guys have said all the time. You guys definitely set a standard for what Averill Park basketball like is now and what it's going to continue to be. So I wish you guys both luck at the next level. We're always watching, obviously. Like I watch probably too much basketball and nothing really too much else. So I'll definitely kind of continue to watch you guys and continue to watch you grow and wish you guys nothing but success. So
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh boy, you two. Nothing but trouble, these two. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know what else to really say, honestly. You two have been amazing to cover the last few years and announce for, and yeah, definitely two of my absolute favorite people I've been able to get to know on and off the court, and I know you're both gonna kill it going forward. You know, whether it be playing ball, getting your degrees, changing the world. God knows we need more. We need more people like the two of you and the way you guys carry yourselves. So, Taylor Holohan, Tatiana Tune from Averill Park. I have no rhyme for the outro. I'm sorry, but thank you both for coming on tonight. We definitely appreciate it, and yeah, enjoy walking across the stage in about 2 months in your caps and gowns, and you know, actually appreciate the next few months. Because it's not a whirlwind anymore. You can kind of breathe a little bit, enjoy it a little bit before you go off to workouts at Northeastern in the summer, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And you go to Boston not too long after that at Suffolk. So enjoy it, and I know we'll talk soon. Thanks, girls.
Thank you so
thanks,
much.
girls.
Bye.
Bye.
That was Tatiana Tune, Taylor Holohan from Averill Park. Yeah, I mean, what is there to say after that? They're great girls, it's a great program, and obviously, Coach Oregon losing two big parts as far as leadership is concerned, but like they mentioned, there's a standard, and Kaylee Ahern and Ariana Verardi have definitely been stepping up to show off their leadership capabilities, and they're set up to keep going after this.
Yeah, agreed. And when you have a standard, when your standard starts with the defensive end, that's a pretty good standard to have. A lot of players, even like I think even Todd probably gave up some of her own, like her own glory, maybe scoring some more points, things like that, and just kind of did everything. Like she gave up her own scoring points to set screens and rebound and get assists and things like that. So she's a player that everybody wants on a team. And then Taylor obviously can kind of do everything. So I have no doubt Averill Park will end up back Hudson Valley next year. And the leadership they have, like I think the best part about the two kids that are left at Averill Park, they're both in the leadership position, meaning they're both guards, so they're not like losing their guard play. So they're both the guards that are going to lead the team. And they're going to teach the younger kids how to play. So they'll be fun to watch, and they obviously have been fun to watch. And until someone beats them, you have to prove that you can beat Averill Park. So it'll be fun to watch next year.
And this just means we need to pay close attention to how Lily Wolleberg continues to develop over the course of her work with Capitals this year and beyond. So
sure,
I think she was starting to really come into her own. I felt like in certain games this season, even with Taylor and Tot on the floor.
Yep.
But I think she might surprise some people her senior season next year. Just gonna put that out there as a little bit of a, I won't call it a bold prediction, but just a little bit of a spoiler. I think she's gonna surprise some people next year as a senior with her team or classmates on the floor with her. So just put that out there. Yeah. So I know I mentioned we get into AAU, but because of everything with the sound issues, which I do want to apologize for, by the way, I know we had some weird sound issues going on for a few minutes there with Taylor, but we figured it all out. So, but we're up against it. So yeah. So that wraps that up. Next week, I promise. I know I keep teasing this. We'll get into talking like the grit and grind and the nuts and bolts of AAU and what it's all about. From an organizer and a coaching perspective, with Mr. Capitula here. So we'll definitely get into that. As far as our guest for the next episode, we have a couple options. There's a pair we're honing in on. If not, there's a pair in waiting. So we're all good. That all said, any final thoughts before I wrap up, Cap?
No, I think it's a great. I think it'll be a great week to do it with the live period up. Next weekend is the live for coaches being able to watch the kids, and majority of the teams are either going to Pennsylvania, Ohio, or Virginia. So obviously that's a big trip for everybody. But it'll be a good week to talk about that stuff and what preparations look like and what teams look like. So no, I think it's been fun, and I think I've gotten a lot of good feedback from people, just kind of something to listen to on the way to work or something to listen to afterwards. And the perspective of the athlete, that's what I think we're just trying to do, is get the athlete's voice out there a little bit and give them a platform to ask them questions where maybe no one really knows. So it's been great.
Spooky Nook. Spooky Nook.
The worst ride, maybe the second worst ride, because that Saranac ride's still the worst. But
I was going to say, don't be putting it over Potsdam yet.
No, second worst ride. So
okay,
is Spooky Nook.
Oh, is that out? I'm guessing that's out in the middle of nowhere too.
Yeah, it's just like you get off the highway, get on this road, then drive 30 miles on a residential road, and then get back on a highway. You're like, oh, I'm home free, and then it's still 35 minutes. You're like, oh man, just get me out of here. So
gross. All right, well, now we know how much you're dreading that drive. No. It's actually interesting because I also know that Gym Rat Live is next month for the girls, correct?
Correct. Yeah, next month
around
for the girls.
Mother's Day, right?
Yep. Next weekend for the boys. Not this coming. Next weekend for the boys, and then next month for the girls. So.
Yep. All right. Well, for those of you who maybe want to shake my hand, have me kiss a baby, do whatever. I'm thinking about trying to get out to Impact this weekend to catch a little AAU action there. I know I got a friend of mine who has a girl from Burnt Hills who's playing. So I'm probably gonna check that out, and maybe I'll check out have the coaching chops of Alex Moses and Carissa Antoine while I'm at it too. So
perfect.
You know, and then I'll come back and getting. That being said, that wraps that up. So that was episode 3 of 84 Feet with Cady and Cap. Once again, if you're on YouTube, like, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you're on Spotify, we thank you for listening. Like the channel. Also, just leave a rating because, we're cool like that. Twitter at 84 Feet Podcast. Email for long form comments, requests, whatever, 84feetpodcast@gmail.com. That's Albany Academy head coach Brian Capitula. I'm Brian Cady. I'm just a loud guy with a microphone. That's all you need to know about me. And we'll catch you next time. In the meantime, if you have AAU coming up, enjoy it, and we'll catch you next show. Adios.
See you guys.